Ah, look at this. Inside you, there are two wolves. One is celebrating America's insane military capabilities. Ah, yeah, the other is mourning the death of the rules based order. A lot of the same people that are screaming about rules based order probably can't tell you why Marines were even in Beirut, Lebanon in 1983, or what rule was followed that allowed the U.S. to invade Grenada in 1983, or invade Panama in 1989, or launch Operation Desert Shield/Storm in 1990. What gave Clinton the right to tomahawk Sudan? Why were we even in Somalia? Why did Clinton accidentally bomb the Chinese embassy in Belgrade? What gave W the right to manipulate intelligence and the United Nations Security Council and invade Iraq and level Baghdad? What rule did Obama follow when he struck U.S. citizens in Yemen with zero transparency? Not only have I lived through all of those historical scenarios, I served in the military or law enforcement through most of those, and I've traveled much of the world. I've traveled to about 39 or 40 countries since the late 80s. And leftist thought and anti Americanism is nothing new. But in all of my travels and in all of my experiences through all of these historical scenarios, I've just now started seeing people screaming about rules based order. It's very clear that to most of these people, this is not leftist and just anti American. This is TDS. Executive power is only a problem if the orders are coming from Trump. And again, I've never seen this level of outrage for such a precision military operation, despite all of these much larger scale undeclared wars, covert interventions, and decades of presidential because I said so. Rules based order sounds noble until you realize that they're only applying it to one president. And I'll bet that it disappears the second that that president leaves office. Perhaps we all need to stop pretending that the world runs on norms when we can see the reality is we've had over 50 or 60 years of presidents proving to us that it runs on force. And I absolutely marvel at how some leftists are speaking now of international law, politics, and relations, as if they know anything about it, with their lofty ideals, lawfare, and intellectualism, as if we're in a courtroom when all of the world's leaders, state and non-state, teach us almost on the daily that it's more like a knife fight in a dark alley. And I also marvel at how some Chinese and pro-Chinese are now saying, is this the rules-based order that the U.S. is complaining that China is violating, when if it wasn't for U.S. and British intervention in World War II, the Chinese would probably still be speaking Japanese. And that's when they weren't being used for bayonet practice.